can turn the world on with a smile. You can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. Well, it's your girl and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it. Love is all around, don't need to fake it. You can never down, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Jodie Emery Show. Today is Wednesday, August 17th. I normally do my show on Thursday, but this weekend I am going down to Seattle for the Seattle Hempfest. It's happening on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 19th to the 21st. And they're having me speak 4 times again this year, which is such an honor. I'll be speaking on the main stage, on the Peter McWilliams Memorial Stage, and the Seeley Stage, and I'll also be on a Hemposium panel for victims of the drug war, along with some other women who have been affected by this horrible war on drugs and what it's done to our loved ones. So I'm really looking forward to go see everybody there. Seattle has been an amazingly supportive city, very active. There's a lot going on in Washington State and in Seattle. So thanks to everybody down there who's been doing such an excellent job, and I look forward to seeing you down there this weekend. So I visited Marc last weekend, and it was so wonderful to see him as always. He's looking pretty good, and he's had a health checkup. His blood pressure is apparently very good, and as far as we know, he doesn't have anything wrong with him, so that's always very comforting news to hear. He does have some bad news, though. He's just learned today that they're putting in the triple bunks, so he had to take some of his pictures of me off the wall because they're doing construction now, welding in some new metal bunks. So Marc said the bad thing is that you can't even sit on your bunk anymore because there's not enough room with 3. But the good news is that there's going to be a 3rd locker installed, so if there's nobody put in as a 3rd inmate, then that's more locker space for him and his cellmate to share for their books and pictures and personal belongings. So, you know, the little things really do count in prison, that's for sure. Our hope is just that they won't be packing the prison to full capacity with 3 men per cell, because if you can imagine being stuck in your bathroom or a space just a little bigger than that with 2 other people, having to sleep with them, use the toilet, and, you know, that's just very difficult, no doubt. So Marc's trying to make the best of it, though. He's still keeping busy. He's still playing bass guitar and learning awesome songs, as I said in my last video, and as he writes about in his latest blog at cannabisculture.com and freemark.ca. He's been in a reggae band and learning how to play Stir It Up and I Shot the Sheriff, and he also played the other night and sang Redemption Song. He said it's a beautiful song and it felt really soothing and powerful to sing it and play it, he said. So we all know that is a very powerful song. At our Vancouver 420 event this year at 4:20 p.m., that's the song that we had played by Adam Bowen, Redemption Song, for our people, our fellow prisoners of the drug war, and for our cause of liberty and freedom from unjust oppression. So that's why it's really good to have Marc getting into this music and learning new things and still feeling very connected to everybody else out there and our cause, which he is still, of course, 100% behind, and supporting me and everyone else who are trying our best to end these unjust laws. I did get some photos of Marc. There's 3 of them here, and he's in his casual prison clothes. So that's a t-shirt and shorts. And so here he is standing, just with his arms crossed, because that's what the tough guys all do in their photos, he said. And he's always trying to smile in his pictures, whereas they all try and look tough. But Marc's a very happy person, so there he is trying to pretend to be a tough guy. And here he is sitting on a chair. So, you know, he's looking pretty good and tanned, as you can tell, and fairly healthy. He's, you know, getting rest. Normally he would work himself ragged every day, so at least he's being forced to take it pretty easy. And this one here is just a nice, cute picture of him, profile shot. And, yep, looking nice and sunned. He likes to get outside. If you check out his latest blog at cannabisculture.com and freemark.ca, you can read about how he sits outside and reads his newspapers and magazines and gets a bit of sun and kind of even enjoys the heat, but it sure is hot down there. Continue to send him letters and magazine subscriptions and books that you think you'd find interesting. The rules about how you can send things and what you can send are at freemark.ca, along with his address. He really appreciates all of your letters and kind words of support, and especially hearing about what you're doing to help end the war on drugs. There's some bad news I want to kind of vent about to let you all know. There's a recent news story you may have seen about a judge who was sentenced to 28 years in prison for accepting over $1 million in bribes to send young people to prison for first-time nonviolent drug offenses and other minor offenses. So he was accepting money from private prisons to send young people behind bars. But unfortunately, the news never really talks about where the money came from. They just talked about how this man was a bad judge and how dare he do this. But in fact, there are many other judges from news stories long ago and even recently who have been doing the exact same thing. And the real problem is the corruption that comes from the private prison industry. It's so wrong that they spend millions of dollars not only paying off judges to send young people to prison, where some of them even kill themselves afterwards because it's such a horrific experience, but they also spend millions of dollars lobbying states to pass anti-immigration laws and to pass tougher drug laws and anything they can do to get non-violent, peaceful people behind bars. And that is wrong and sick and unjust, because to put suffering upon any person who hasn't hurt anyone else at all is always wrong, always immoral, and always must be decried and condemned and fought against with every waking moment of our lives. This is a serious human injustice, it's a human rights violation, and it seems to be only getting worse. And unfortunately in Canada, we're having the private prison industry introduced up here, which is really quite devastating for anybody who knows the horrific consequences of this. Our government, the Conservative government of Canada, or the Conservative government of Harper and his sycophants, these people who are just sadistic about punishment and money, just so much corruption and money. Our military and prisons are getting up every tax dollar we have, and healthcare and education and the environment be damned. This government is selling us out to American and worldwide interests who kill and hurt and imprison and spy and violate people every single day. That's what we're up against here. We have 4 years of Harper, and in fact, this September our Parliament reconvenes, and this government has promised to introduce an omnibus crime bill, which means over a ton of different laws that they really wanted to pass when they were a minority government. They couldn't get passed, mostly for their own messing around, but because there was also an opposition that could say it's wrong and we need to look at it and we need science to prove these laws are the right things to do. But now that Harper has majority power, he has total, complete, almost dictator-like power. Really, in Canada, we have what some people refer to as friendly fascism, because our Prime Minister and his government are able to do whatever they want without the opposition being able to prevent it, unless they can get Conservatives to change their votes away from their own leaders' orders, which isn't likely. So over the next 100 days, the government promised within the first 100 days of government coming back, they're going to pass this crime bill. And not only does it pass mandatory minimums for drug crimes, which will see thousands of Canadians put behind bars for growing their own medicine and for just using a safe plant, it's also going to see the police get unprecedented spying powers. Now, I don't know if many of you have heard about this, but it's even worse than what's happening in America. Our police are going to have the ability to read your emails, search your entire internet and computer using history without a warrant. They'll be able to activate your cameras on your laptops and on your computers without a warrant. They'll be able to do an enormous amount of privacy invasions with this bill that the government is trying to pass, and unfortunately will likely pass unless we can get enough public outcry against it. So please do some Google research, look it up, Canada, police, laws, Conservative government. There are endless news stories. In fact, the Canadian Bar Association, our legal lawyers and judges organization, met with the Justice Minister, Rob Nicholson, very bad man in my opinion. Also just look at photos of him, he doesn't look very friendly. And he's not, because he dismissed their concerns that the mentally ill and the minorities within Canada are going to be discriminated against, just as they have been in the United States and wherever else mandatory minimums are implemented. And Rob Nicholson just shrugged and said it's not going to be a problem. But the judges and lawyers are begging for a safety valve, for the option to help people get rehab or just to have lesser sentences when they've been sexually abused or when they've been horribly brought up or had any sort of reasons why they shouldn't be getting a huge sentence. But this government is dead set on filling up the prisons they're building all across Canada. They're building maximum security cells within medium security prisons, which effectively makes them into maximum security prisons completely. And this is happening all across Canada. So it's very discouraging, it's very worrisome, but it doesn't mean that there's not reasons to continue to have hope. We can still organize, we can still speak truth to power. You know, every day you have to wonder, what can I do to help educate others and to help make the world a better place? You know, ask yourself, what is the purpose of your life? And I think the purpose of life is a life of purpose, a life of a cause, of a reason, of something that makes you want to live. And thankfully for me, I have this ability to work against drug prohibition, to be able to help educate others, to get the word out. And I receive so many awesome messages from so many people who are doing the same thing. Very young people, 14-year-olds up to 70-year-olds. So many are involved in this battle together. And although you may not see them or hear from them all the time, never forget that you are part of an enormous force of good, an enormous movement of good people who want the world to be a better place. And you're on the right side. We are on the right side, the side of truth, and we're going to win. Maybe not in our lifetimes, but we damn well better do our best to make sure that at some point in the future, our lives have helped make other people's lives better. I want to share one little thing with you from a wonderful Canadian publication. Skunk Magazine is a very good magazine, really. They've stepped it up quite a lot. They have a gigantic issue this time around, and they do regular articles on Marc and many other people well deserving of it. Including, in fact, Dana Larson, our wonderful friend who ran for the leadership of the BC New Democratic Party. He got a big interview with Lisa Mamakai Kirkman, who found her way into the movement through Cannabis Culture magazine, so definitely pick it up to check that out. But they also ran an interview with Marc, which they had me ask Marc questions and get the answers. So they have an article called Heavy on the Hendrix, because Marc was playing a lot of Jimi Hendrix, as you'll know from watching all the older videos. So that's a nice 3-page interview. They have a 3rd page with interview questions continuing and a photo of me and Marc in Tofino, our one little vacation we really got to take in the summer of 2009. So we hope to go back there soon, and I hope you'll pick up Skunk Magazine and support them. They're a great Canadian publication who are doing their best to get the word out. So check out that issue. And also be sure to check out cannabisculture.com/store. I've been stepping into a bigger role here at our store, which is right behind me, Cannabis Culture Headquarters. It's Marc Emery's Cannabis Culture Headquarters, and I'm happy to be looking after it while he's gone and working with everybody here to continue the hard work he's done, to continue educating people, inspiring people, and letting them be able to celebrate the culture that is our cannabis culture. So check out all the stuff at cannabisculture.com/store. We have free Marc things on sale, so you can get some stickers or shirts, all sorts of stuff there to have a wonderful time spreading the word and to get some goodies for yourself too. I really appreciate your support. I hope I'll see a lot of you in Seattle, and if not, at some point in the future, because I'm not giving up, I'm not quitting, and I hope you won't either. We've got a lot of work to do. Thanks a lot for watching. Free Marc Emery.